You ever notice how some people turn their birthday into a full event? They plan weeks in advance, balloons, dinner plans, a camera-ready smile. It's loud, joyful, and bright. And then there are others who wake up that morning, check their phone, reply thanks to a few messages, and then go on with their day like nothing happened. No cake, no party, not even a quiet dinner for themselves. Why is that? Why do some people celebrate themselves openly, while others quietly fade into the background, almost as if they don't think they deserve to be celebrated at all? Stick with me until the end, because what you'll discover might not just explain them, it might explain you, too. For some, it begins early. They learned that special days don't always feel special. Maybe it's those childhood birthdays where no one really remembered. A day that passed without excitement, without the warmth they hoped for. Or maybe it was that one time they planned something big. Invitations, decorations, everything. But people didn't show up. And that kind of disappointment doesn't just fade. It etches itself into memory. It teaches your brain a quiet lesson, that expectation often leads to pain. So, the next year, you lower your expectations. Then, eventually, you stop expecting anything at all. You tell yourself, it's fine, I don't really care about birthdays. But that's not indifference, it's protection. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, a state where the mind adapts to repeated letdowns by giving up the idea of good things happening at all. It's not sadness on the surface, it's a kind of numb acceptance. And under that, a deep longing to be remembered without having to ask. Then, there's another group, the ones who simply forget, not because they don't care, but because life keeps rushing forward. Work deadlines, classes, family obligations. One day blurs into the next until the calendar becomes background noise. By the time they realize it's their birthday, the day's already half over. Modern psychology calls this time blindness, a side effect of chronic stress, burnout, or overstimulation where your sense of time gets distorted. You're so caught in survival mode that your brain no longer marks moments as special. For these people, it's not that their birthday doesn't matter, it's that they haven't had the emotional space to even feel that it does. And if you've ever found yourself too tired to care about your own milestones, you probably understand this deeply. When you're exhausted from keeping up, celebration starts to feel like another task on the list. Then, there are those who consciously choose not to celebrate. They know it's their day, they just don't feel the need to make it loud. For them, joy has evolved into something quieter. It's not a party, it's peace. A calm morning, a cup of coffee by the window, a moment of gratitude that doesn't need to be photographed. They've grown into what psychologists describe as emotionally independent individuals, people who derive meaning from internal validation, not external applause. This links to something called self-determination theory, the idea that real fulfillment comes from autonomy, competence, and inner satisfaction. They've stopped waiting for others to validate their worth. They don't need candles to remind them they're still alive. They already know. And that kind of peace doesn't mean they're unfeeling. It means they've learned to stand on their own emotional ground. But if you look even deeper, there's another reason some people let their birthdays slip by, a quieter, more existential one. The older we get, the more we realize birthdays aren't just celebrations. They're markers of time. Each one says, another year gone. For some, that awareness stirs gratitude. For others, it whispers something heavier, a reminder of how quickly everything moves. So they avoid the day altogether, not because they hate it, but because it reminds them of the pace of life, of dreams deferred, relationships lost, moments that can't come back. It's not about sadness. It's about confronting the truth that life is fleeting, and we don't always feel ready to face that truth head on. Some psychologists link this to temporal awareness, the growing consciousness of time's passage, and the emotional conflict it creates. It's not fear of aging, it's the quiet ache of knowing that time is both a gift and a countdown. So rather than pretending to be joyful, some people simply pause. They let the day pass gently, without labels or expectations, because sometimes that's the most honest way to live. And maybe that's the beauty of it. The way people handle their birthdays isn't really about a single day. It's a mirror reflecting how they see themselves. Some celebrate to feel seen. Some stay quiet to stay safe. And some find joy in the middle ground, grateful for the day, but not dependent on it. Because when you really think about it, every person, no matter how strong or independent, still wants to feel remembered, still wants to know that their existence matters to someone. That's not weakness. That's being human. So maybe the question isn't, why don't some people celebrate their birthday? Maybe it's, what does it mean to truly celebrate yourself? Sometimes it means forgiving the years when no one showed up. Sometimes it means letting yourself rest instead of perform. And sometimes it means lighting a candle quietly, not because anyone's watching, but because you've learned to celebrate being here at all. Because every time you make it through another year, another heartbreak, another doubt, another beginning, that's worth honoring, even if no one else sees it. So, whether you throw a party or just take a breath of morning air, both are valid, both are beautiful. The way you celebrate doesn't define your worth. You do. And if this made you pause for a moment, if it made you see a bit of yourself in these words, remember, you're not strange or distant or broken. You're just human. And if you want to keep understanding what it really means to be one, subscribe, because we are still human.